Welcome to Geo Week 2024. I am Noah Eckhous with NavVis, and I'm joined by Jim Yanosick of iBot. Welcome, Jim. Thank you for joining us. We're really excited to talk about what you guys are doing because you guys are taking an approach that, well, it's similar to the approach that VLX versus TLS is discussed, but at an entirely different scale. Could you start to break down what iBot does and how you guys came to be and where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are focused on asset digitization. So we look at very large scale projects and we want to provide them a cost-effective method to document the as-built conditions of their site. So the NavVis and the VLX have been an instrumental tool in that process because when we got started, we took a very aerial first approach. And we continue to build on that approach by documenting a site from the air first. That allows us to cover hundreds of acres in a day and then use that information to go and fill in everything that couldn't be seen from a ground level using our VLX.
Very cool. Yeah, so I think one of the first things people may notice is that you measure your job sites in acres rather than square feet. I don't think people realize it is quite a bit bigger. We're talking about entire refineries, right? Would you want to share some of the projects that you've worked on, maybe some of the bigger ones or maybe more strenuous turnaround times?
Yeah, so our largest project was a 1,200 acre refinery where, again, we used this approach of, mapping and modeling the entire site from the air first. What's also unique is, we use photogrammetry. So we're not only being able to get a point cloud out of that, but we also create all of those images in that mesh as well. So in this particular instance, we had well over a terabyte of data that came from the result of digitizing 1,200 acres. So the project itself was a phased approach where we did the aerial first. That was a 2-week sprint, on site where we 5 days a week flying the drone. And then over the next 3 weeks of visits, we were able to fill in all of the other areas that hadn't and couldn't be seen from the air. So all in total, it was about 5 weeks on site to do the entire 1,200 acres.
That is stunning. That's an incredibly large area to fill in. So as far as talking about the mesh you're producing and integrating that with the VLX data, do you want to talk a little bit about the deliverables you're producing and how your end customers are using those?
Yeah, so IVION has been a great tool for us. We do a lot of the combining efforts in IVION, the ability to process all of the SLAM data. What we would do is our team would be on site. They were able to upload the data in the evening. By that morning, they were able to review what they had, confirm that it was good, and move on to the other area. So the tools that the VLX comes with, meaning IVION and the processing and the hosting, and that has made for the workflow a much more efficient process. And then what the customer in this particular instance did is they had a sort of third-party software, an asset management digital twin platform that they were working in. So we were able to get all of that information combined and then delivered to them so that they could use it in their asset management solution.
Wow, very cool. I always love to hear how people are using IVION. Of course, I've come up with some clever ways myself, but our customers are, they spend even more time in it than I do, and I'm got 15 IVION tabs open at all times. So glad to hear it. You want to talk a little bit about where you guys are working and the variety of sites that you guys touch?
Yeah, so we do a lot of industrial assets. So we just wrapped up a 2-year, 76, 13-country project where we did assets globally for a company, creating, again, that full asset visualization, which I think, again, is a little bit unique for the space, or at least it's becoming less unique, where previously people would just go out and they would scan for one small little section because they were going to do a turnaround. We're trying to help change that thought process to say, let's start macro, cover your entire site, and then as you need updates, just do the small sections, and then we'll combine that data. So primarily, we got our start working in oil and gas. We've then spent the last 5-6 years deepening some of our relationships there. We also work in some other energy assets, geothermal being one. Geothermal is very unique because those assets are extremely remote. So that again is part of the value that we want to bring to clients is you have remote, hard to reach, hard to access places. Let us send a team. We'll give you that model, and now you are not sending your engineers, your subcontractors, your teams to go view these assets that are in remote parts of the country. So the team, I did not, unfortunately, just wrapped up a project that was in Hawaii and Guadalupe. So they really had to rough it there, but they survived, luckily.
Anything to get the data.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are suffering out there for sure.
Very much.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It was really great hearing about what iBot is up to and how you guys are, changing the game as far as how we're approaching projects. It's something I've heard from other people in the sort of process industry. Why try to piecemeal it when you can get the whole picture? So, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.